It's me, Ari does it. Why do people get along with deals that don't add up? It's simple as this. People prefer anything but face themselves. Face themselves, both as individuals and as a community, is something the public dreads. They absolutely don't want to go in this direction. They're terrified of it and they get angry and pissed off if anything hints them to self-reflect on themselves as individuals and as a community. The masses don't want this. They absolutely don't want it. So this motivates them, this fear of exposure, because this fear motivates them to embrace anything that can keep them away from self-reflection. Anything that will distract them from facing the most important fact, and that is that the public is neglectful towards one another, that is what they will embrace. And they can keep them away from doing that, they're okay with. Now, there's certain things they're not okay with, but they're only disapproving of those certain things because they have an option to escape in another way. When it comes down to it, the masses will agree to any situation that enables them to escape. If you enable their escape, you are their hero. If you gratify their expectations that they don't examine, then you get a pat on the back. But woe unto you if you ever want real solutions in the long run. If you actually want long-term solutions, beware. Because now you become the unwanted mirror that reveals onto them how neglectful and unstable they are. And boy, they really don't want this to happen. If you ever become the unwanted mirror, then you will be the next victim. That's how it is. But of course, they won't openly come to you, to your face, and threaten you. They will use the authorities, or they will use people from the streets, or they will use policies, they will use any method, or something will even do witchcraft and black magic, just to sabotage you and blackmail you. That's why society always love bombs you when you're growing up. Now, some people, love bombing doesn't work because they come from an abusive environment, and because that love bombing is not successful. But in general, society love bombs you into thinking if you just get along, you'll have a good outcome and you'll be accepted. But here's the issue. That acceptance will never happen. It cannot happen. But they want you to think that this acceptance will happen. Why? Because when you think the acceptance will happen, you become motivated. And because this acceptance includes not having to face the fallen state of our species, you are more than motivated to get along. Until after several years, you realize, hold on a minute, something's awful here. Then you need to come to terms that you've been scammed and that you're not an actual victim because you collaborated with a fairy tale just because you didn't want to face the truth about yourself and those around you. So at this point, a human being has two options. Either they face the bitter reality of what went down, and once they face this, they're able to process it and actually move on into real solutions. It's not going to be easy, but it's the right thing and the best thing to do. Or they can persist in escaping, and from that point on, they become narcissistic, and eventually, if they persist after becoming narcissistic, they become a reprobate. That's how simple it is. So, anytime anyone holds on to this construct called society, they are collaborating with a cover-up. They are collaborating with keeping misfortune and evil on the earth. That is what they're doing. They are collaborators. But At this point, they want everyone else to think they're the victims. They just encounter bad things in life. Now, there are actual victims out there, absolutely. And not all of them are children. Also, adults can be victimized and become victims. That's true. But the default state of most human beings out there is that they are collaborators. They are collaborators against their own long-term well-being. And that's why when you as a believer begin to walk by faith and you have manifestation in life, the public tends to get upset and obsessed with you. Because the public is used to being able to victimize or sabotage anyone they dislike. But with you, you keep popping up and things keep backfiring on them. So with you, they're forced to deal with what they are. So they end up losing it. Because there's no way the public can endure long-term pain. They simply can't deal with that. They need an outlet to dump upon. And because they can't dump on you and get it over with, they end up self-destructing. So do not expect this world to love you, saints. It will not and it cannot, because embracing you is a suicide mission for them. So they won't do it. At the same time, if they keep fighting you, it's a suicide mission too. So in any case, a true believer is bad news to the world. As simple as that. So don't expect to be treated as good news. Because the only thing the world perceives as good news, which isn't good news, but only they perceive as good news, is anyone that gratifies and enables the fairy tales of the masses. That's it. If you're into real, long-term solutions, do not expect a standing ovation and do not even expect to be invited. It will never happen. So, remember what Christ said, a slave is not above his master, nor a servant above their Lord. Christ said, if they've persecuted me, they will persecute you too. Remember when the Lord told the prophet Samuel, because Samuel was upset that the public wanted a king instead of being led by their father, and the Lord told Samuel, Samuel, it's not me they've rejected. It's not you they've rejected. They've rejected me, that I will not reign over them. Just like their ancestors forsaken me, the same way they're doing to you now. So understand this. God was saying to the prophet Samuel, don't think they'll treat you better than how they're treating me. And the same we have to remember, because Christ even said it in the New Testament. A slave is not above his master. If Christ is our Lord and we follow him, and they did Christ dirty, they'll do the same to us. Do we have to be open and allow ourselves to be victimized? No. We don't have to fight back because we just overcome. Just understand that if you walk in the light and you actually are into long-term solutions and long-term prosperity, do not expect an invitation, nor standing ovation, nor a pat on the back from the world. It will never happen. You have to come to terms with that. Well, that's it for now. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.